Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're going to start in just a couple of minutes. I just wanted to thank you for logging on. Take a couple of minutes to wrap up what you're doing, and we'll get started shortly. If you've just joined, thank you very much for joining the call. We'll start in just a minute or two. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining the call. We're going to start in just one more minute. We're going to give folks one more minute to join the call. All right, let's get started. Thank you, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the very first offering in our Encore Learning webinar series from the 2015 NAA Education Conference and Exposition. We had an amazing turnout in Las Vegas in June with a record-breaking 9,200 attendees. I'm Clark Everett, Director of Conference Education Programming at NAA, and I'm your host for today's webinar. The fact that you've taken time out of your busy work schedule to join us tells me that you're somebody who is committed to broadening your industry knowledge and skills. Before I introduce you to today's esteemed presenters, I want to tell you about some learning opportunities made available to you by NAA. The National Apartment Association Education Institute is proud to present Rewind, a collection of 52 PowerPoint-synced audio and video recorded sessions from the 2015 NAA Education Conference. Purchasing this powerful online learning tool allows you to have ongoing access to some of the very best education and training content in the industry. You can also earn up to 6 CECs towards your NAAEI designation. The purchase price is $299 for the 52 session set, and it's a great investment in your professional development. You may also be interested to know about another great learning opportunity. Join NAAEI and the Apartment All-Stars and Multifamily Insiders for Webinar Wednesdays, the largest premium webinar series in the industry to provide state and local association members with access to industry thought leaders to discuss innovative ideas, best practices, and emerging industry trends. These webinars will give participants the tools they need to become industry superstars in their own right. The webinars will cover industry trends and timely topics that benefit both on and off-site staff. They're available at a one-time or subscription price, and they also afford you NAAEI continuing education credits towards your designation. Last but not least, Please mark your calendars for the 2016 NAA Education Conference and Exposition, slated for June 15th through the 18th, 2016 in beautiful San Francisco. We're already working on developing world-class education content for you and believe that we can surpass the high benchmark we achieved in Las Vegas. This webinar is being recorded, and shortly after we conclude, you will receive an emailed link to the recording. So don't worry about writing down any of the text on the slides. Now, please let me introduce you to two of our awesome experts. These ladies rock the house in Las Vegas. We have Amy Kosnikowski Dilisio from Sprout Marketing and Nichole Smith from SatisFacts. Amy?
Why, thank you, Clark. This is Amy Kosnikowski Dilisio. I am so excited to be here to be able to share with you, along with Leah, great information about Crazy Busy and how to move from crazy busy to be more productive. Leah and I were so blown away with the amount of people that were coming to our section to hear this particular topic in Vegas. We were so excited to be part of the opening session, the Kickstarter education session, so people were definitely thirsty and looking for the information. And so we know this is definitely a hot topic, and so many people who have signed up and registered for today. We're so thrilled that you have joined us. As Clark mentioned, this is being recorded, so definitely you can take notes, and we're also going to be available at the end to answer any questions for you as well. So, and also our contact information will be at the end, so if you have any information or questions you want to ask us directly, we would love for you to be able to do that. A little bit about me. Again, my name is Amy Kosnikowski Dilisio. I'm based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. You'll be able to see my bio shortly on the screen. So I've been in the business. I started out on site leasing apartments, which I fell in love with this business, worked my way up to executive level, and then I started my own business, and now I partner with a great company called Sprout Marketing, who is fantastic. I'm helping apartments be able to market their assets as well as through education. So not only that, but I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a stepmom, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. So I share with you the same mission to move away from crazy to busy to being more productive. So today we're going to share with you some great strategies how to be able to beat the crazy busy, step above the fray to be more productive. Because we as leaders, we need to be able to manage our teams, to be able to move away from the crazy busy, but actually to manage our teams to be effective leaders, even in this dysfunctional, crazy world. So Leah?
Thanks so much, Amy, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. We know if you are here for a crazy busy webinar, your lives are probably, you guessed it, crazy busy. As Clark mentioned, my name is Nichole Smith. I work with SatisFacts as well as apartment ratings, and it's a really neat little juxtaposition, my world, because what I'm able to help you all with is understanding that what happens on site often ends up online. I started as a leasing associate way back when. We won't date ourselves here on this webinar. That's for another conversation. But it's nice that I have had experience on the operator side, in the corporate office as well, and now as a supplier being able to help even more multifamily professionals. This is a really interesting topic for Amy and I think each time in preparing this session for NAA, each time we had a phone chat or a meeting, I think we took about a couple minutes in the beginning just to vent how crazy busy we were, and we're such the appropriate team to pass on some of this information to you. I also think that in preparing this presentation, it helped us to learn some new skills, some new tweaks, some new little tactics to maybe calm our world a little bit. So we love the opportunity to pass that on to you. So before we start talking about solutions, we have to get grounded in how did we even get here? Why is crazy busy are normal. So on any given day, those of you who are on this webinar, do you feel overscheduled or overcommitted or maybe even overextended? You know, it's Thursday, maybe you're just plain over. So when people ask you, how are you? How's it going? Is there that sigh or that eye roll that you give them before you answer? We're never just fine anymore. We always have to add that extra piece of exasperation. So for those of you who have a pen and paper handy, we want you to write down what you see on this slide. Blank, busy. We're going to fill in this blank today. So let's think about the first of the month at your community or in your corporate office. It's the first of the month. It's a Monday, and it's after one of those long move-out weekends. What adjective, what word would you use to describe how busy you are on that day? Would it be really busy, super busy, crazy busy, unbelievably busy? You name it, whatever fits for you, we want you to write it down. Busy by definition, the word itself is an adjective, you know, but for us it doesn't quite cut it. Just the word busy alone doesn't necessarily remotely describe how busy we are. We feel like we need an adjective on top of our adjective. But the word productive, on the other hand, it's a verb. It's a word that points to what you've actually accomplished for the day. So we want you to cross out the word busy and right underneath the word productive. What'd you end up with now? Really productive, super productive, crazy productive, unbelievably productive. That's the goal. That's the goal for this webinar, is to get you from that blank busy to that blank productive. I know there's many of you out there, I'm one, that would rather be productive versus busy. So that's our end game. Amy and I are going to give you some tools to help you get there before we conclude this webinar. So here's this crazy busy phenomenon. Everyone's running around like a chicken with the head cut off, you know, missing appointments and forgetting the niceties and courtesies of life because you're just so busy you can't even remember to say thank you or goodbye or have a nice day. So before we can transition into that crazy busy or crazy productive, it's important for us to understand why crazy busy is now our new normal. So why do we do it? Anytime we have a moment to ourselves, and there may even be some people on this webinar, while you were waiting for us to start the webinar, this was you. Grabbed your cell phone, maybe checked Facebook, maybe answered back a few text messages. You know, we have lost that quiet time. We've lost that moment of reflection, if you will. And the reason that we do this is psychologists feel that when we are left completely to our own devices, just the peace and quiet in our heads, we tend to dwell on the things that are going wrong in our lives. We just naturally go to the negative. So in order to avoid going to the negative, we feel as though we'd rather be doing something versus nothing. Because when we do nothing, we tend to think of the bad stuff instead of thinking of the things that are going to get us to this end game, you know, that productive side as opposed to being crazy busy. Now, this is a really interesting study. Back last year, 2014, the University of Virginia, they studied over 700 participants. What they told these people was, we're going to put you in a room, no cell phone, no TV, no nothing. You're just going to sit in a chair all by yourself for 10 minutes. Do you think that's something you can do? 100% of the participants said, absolutely, I can sit for 10 minutes, not a big deal at all. Now, they gave them an out. They gave each participant an out. They said, if you can no longer take sitting still, we will let you leave this room early, but you have to administer an electric shock to yourself. Basically, give yourself a little bit of tasing in order to get out of this room. So they asked the participants, how many of you think that you would give yourself this shock? 100% said, nope, I'm not doing it. I think I'll be just fine. I can handle 10 minutes. Well, 64% of men and 15% of women prefer to administer the electric shocks to themselves instead of being left in the room for 10 minutes with nothing to do. They would rather go through the pain to get out of the room within 10 minutes than to just sit there alone with their thoughts. That is crazy. Tying us back to this crazy busy. Everyone would rather be doing something versus nothing. So we don't want you guys out there tasing yourselves. We don't want you all not being able to be alone with your thoughts. So we got to get productive instead of getting busy. So busy versus productive. Busy is that scattered attention, no focus, no end in mind. You're running around like a chicken with lots of activity, but no true results. So we might think that to the outside world, people see us with all this energy, all of this activity, and it looks as though we're really, doing a great job. We're all over the place. We have our hands in everything. And we think that if people see us doing this, it's a good thing. But over time, that's really hard to keep up. That's where your stress goes up. That's where you start missing, the moments to connect with people on your team, moments to connect with your residents. You start dropping more balls because you just can't keep up that kind of scattered activity. So the question, what exactly are you working on? What exactly is it that is keeping you so crazy busy as opposed to directing your energy to achieve your goals? Now, me personally, I define being productive as the ability to prioritize. I can prioritize my time, my effort, my energy. I can focus my attention and just really give it a good go, give it that full force that it deserves. So the key to being productive is that we have to organize our priorities, not only at work, but in life in general. Recently, IBM conducted a survey where they asked 1,500 CEOs this question: what is the biggest challenge of leaders today? And they gave them 3 different options: employee retention, financial viability, or strategic planning.
That's right, Leah. This was a very exciting research when we saw this. This 1,500 CEOs identified their biggest challenge as, in the next 10 years, as strategic planning. So basically, they thought the ability for themselves as well as their teams to carve out time to think and even strategize to respond to new challenges with great ideas, really out-of-the-box thinking, is going to be key, critical. So this really got us thinking, and we wanted to share this information with you because sometimes we need to step back on occasion, imagine new possibilities, and create new solutions. Because I know sometimes it's hard for us to create that think time. Leah, you mentioned about people being by themselves for 10 minutes. I just revel, just love having, that's a major luxury for me to have think time. I love when I'm driving in a car, I don't have the radio on. That's when I do some of my best brainstorming. So just think about when we need to create think time. Let's look up from our smartphones and our monitors and let's identify what the challenges are. Let's solve some problems. Let's take some think time. We need to make time for this think time when we have to be able to carve it out. And I know it's hard because we are so crazy busy, and it's kind of actually the last thing on our list is to be able to create think time because we're just moving like a chicken with our head cut off. We're being busy. But when we unplug and step away to assess and evaluate and, oh my, even think about brainstorming some great ideas, who knows where you can take your teams, take your companies, take your properties. Just think where you can go with that. Because really, if we can disconnect and even commit to it, creating think tank opportunities for ourselves and our teams, we can really go far. And I know it's so hard to disconnect, and sometimes we just have to turn off our iPhone, Put your laptop cover down and just walk away. We got to turn off those gadgets and gizmos to focus on strategic planning and find those solutions. And one of the great companies out there, Microsoft, I'm not sure if you know this, but they have a built-in internal app called Thinking Time that they can turn this on, which allows their staff the ability to turn off all their emails, their instant messengers for a specific amount of time, which can result in productivity time, and even commit to it. Put into place policies, standards, a new tradition for your company to allow your teams and even yourself to think. A great example actually within our industry is a company that came up with a quiet time policy. So every on-site team member has access to 1 hour of quiet time a day. Each team member understands this, they respect this, they support that, because they know when it's going to be their time, they're going to be supported as well as encouraged to do that. So whether they want to finish a report, they want to do inventory in the service department, or do follow-up, whatever you want to do or strategize or plan, you can do it. So why not once a month, once a quarter, once a year, have a think tank with your team for you all to come together to plan, devise strategies, and think of new methods in order for us to manage, to be able to take our properties to a whole new level. So when was the last time your team had exclusive strategy planning session? It might be so long ago you can't even remember it. So let's give ourselves, as well as ourselves some think time. Give us opportunities to reflect, devise new ideas, think big pictures, and why not be creative? Because right now we're at a crossroads. We're at a crossroads. You can continue on this crazy busy, keep going on that road, or you can swing with us and go to be crazy productive. You can choose. It's completely your choice. So you may be thinking to yourself, okay, Amy, what am I going to do about this? How can I regain balance in my life? Well, just the very fact that you are here right now, that you already have identified, you're aware of it. You're aware that you are crazy busy and you want to make change. But that's great. The awareness is awesome. That's the first step. But the change and making that, shifting that thinking is really where the work comes in. So we have to shift our thinking, because it's easy to make crazy busy to be a habit, or we can even be a victim to crazy busy. But if you want to be more efficient, less stressful, and be a more successful leader, we've got to make change. So how can we manage in this world of too much? It's so hard, not to mention trying to be productive. Because right now, we can work whenever we want, wherever we want, and so we do all the time. You all are nodding heads. I get it, because I'm right there with you. It's so tempting to be lured into the smartphone, or be lured into your laptop, or check your emails, or check your voicemail. I get it. So our focus on being productive is so lost on being busy, and really getting to that productive stage doesn't always happen, because it gets lost in that digital noise. Because right now, as we as managers and we as leaders, there's got to be new expectations of us, and we've got to really take it up several notches and changing our methods, because we know this distraction, all this technology, all this digital noise that's coming at us, we have to manage differently because all these demands and diversion. We need new methods to maintain our focus as well as our team's focus. We need to support our people in a different way, and we have to master the biggest challenge to keep yourself and your people above the fray of crazy busy. So you may be asking yourself, what is the best way that I can do this as a leader? So my biggest takeaways for you are, I'm just going to go ahead and share them with you, are take back control and setting expectations and boundaries. The first is to take back control. Take back those reins. Take them back. And I know the first thing that may be popping in your mind right now is, I understand these are great concepts, these are great ideas, but I have no choice because my boss is giving me demands, I have residents, I have family demands. And my response to you is this: you have more control than you think. You will get more work done if you realize how much control that you give away. So take it back. If you leave yourself available to everything and everyone, that's going to be tough on you. So if we take back control of our lives, our time, and what we do with it, you can begin to chart your course despite being crazy busy. So when you become master of your personal and professional lives, because a lot of things that we're going to share with you today, not only you can apply to your professional career as well as your personal life, you can achieve anything. So I'm here to tell you, you need to take back the reins, take back control. Not only you should, but you can. And a great way to do that is to set boundaries and expectations. And this is so hard. And yes, I mean say no on occasion, because if we protect our time and setting expectations to maximize your time, you can be more productive. So in this 24/7 nonstop world, we're working all the time. So that makes these boundaries really hard or even non-existent. I get it. A boundary truly is like a limit or a line that is drawn which defines the roles or responsibilities and even expectations. It's kind of that standard of performance that we have. But when all these things are set and expectations are clearly defined, everybody can work more effectively and achieve better results. So if you don't defend your boundaries, it can lead to a lot of frustration and bitterness in the end. And I know you all get that. I bet there's a lot of people agreeing with me out there. Okay, how to do it. How to say no. This is always the biggest question that I get. And I know it's so hard because we typically in this industry, we're pleasers. So there's definitely a way for us to say no thank you and offer alternative options. And this is a tough discipline for those of us who are pleasers. And hey, I'm right there with you. For we want to do everything. You'd be part of it all. We have so many people relying on us. And hey, we have clients to keep happy, investors to keep happy, your regional to keep happy, everybody happy, right? And I am a recent pleaser convert because I have realized if you try to do everything, you won't get anything done. You got to realize that if you try to do everything, you won't get anything done. Obviously, we don't want to disappoint anybody, and on some level, we all want approval. That's the reason why we're overachievers in a sense. So the reality that you're not doing yourself or your clients any favors by saying yes to everyone or everything, because what that's going to do is lead to incomplete work or unsatisfied customers. So we have to pay special attention early on in the relationship or the conversation to make sure that we are getting closer to the goals, exactly what those expectations are. So my tips to you of how to do this is to clarify. Get clarification of exactly what's needed, details, requests, what exactly do they want, and then come to an agreement. Again, the goals, the timelines, and as well as kind of coming to a clear understanding of what exactly success looks like at the end. Quick story, when I was director of marketing and training of a big national company, president of my company came up to me and said, hey, Amy, I need by Friday information on this particular market we're thinking about building in. I said, awesome, that's great. So I just took this on hold. I shut down the whole marketing department. We did research. We put this great 50-page report, and I was so excited when I walked in on Friday to the president's office, and I put it on his desk, and he said, Amy, all I wanted was a one-page summary. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. So if I would have clarified, come to agreement, got more details, I would have saved not only myself time, I think it was several days I was working on this, as well as my whole department, I made them unproductive. So to create these win-win phrases, to be able to say no, again, protecting your boundaries, you can say no nicely. To say, let's say someone comes to you and says, hey, I need this report. You can say, that's great. I'm currently working on this project, but what I can do is get that information to you by the end of the day. Will that be convenient for you? Yes, great. I hear you. I'm going to get that to you. Or let's say your local association says, hey, we'd love for you to join our committee, and you would want to, but you know you can't. To say that would be great, but I'm already committed to the education committee. However, I can offer you volunteer hours on that particular day of the golf tournament. Will that work for you? Yes. Again, you can't say yes to everything. If you do that, you can't do anything at all. Again, if everything is a priority, then nothing is. That's when you create these boundaries, you create, you're setting those expectations. This is when your priorities can be achieved. But the biggest thing is you have to focus on what are your priorities. Just like Leah mentioned, you have to be able to focus on what's going to make you successful. And the way to really come down to the nitty-gritty is to look at your position description. Why were you hired? Why were you hired? And if you look at that, that's kind of like your blueprint or even your roadmap for success. And even looking at your to-do list every day, is that what you're focused on? Are you getting distracted by a lot of other things? Or what is your highest value activities? What is the biggest bang for your every minute, every day? And is that what you're focused on? If not, you need to really look at that. Again, setting boundaries, setting expectations, being focused on what's going to make you successful as well as productive. And what am I doing every day? And is that helping me move toward achieving my goals? So when you look at these, if you look at these when you're setting your priorities, this is going to make you kind of focus a little bit differently on your to-do list and kind of keep you coming back to, say you get distracted and you might be pulled away, you might have a diversion, you will keep coming back to these priorities because you know this is what's going to make you successful. And good old Gandhi, he has a fantastic quote here about action expresses priorities, because we are leaders and we are managers. What actions are you doing? What are you doing every day? And is that showing your priorities? Because we as leaders, our top priority is our people. And again, we want to focus on you being successful, you being productive in this crazy busy world, but you have to think about it. When your teams are successful, when your teams are productive, you are successful, but it definitely starts on top. So our number one job as leaders and as managers, we need to lead, manage, and support our teams, because when they're happy, they're successful, and they're productive, that will show that all of our priorities are truly in line. I want you to think about this, and this might be kind of a tough conversation for you to have with yourself, but remember, there is a negative ripple effect that can occur when you're crazy busy. Your people are going to imitate what you do. Look in the mirror. You may see that you might be the crazy busy. Your teams are the result and the byproduct of your actions, requests, and demands. You need to set a great example for your team to follow. Practice what you preach. Walk the walk. Ask yourself, are my crazy busy tactics creating chaos for my team's workplace? And is that what's making them unproductive? For every action that we take, every email that we send may be a consequence for somebody else. So think about it before you send that email or you make that phone call or you make the request. Is this really needed? So before you request, is it really needed, or am I just adding to the crazy busy? So, and again, we want our teams to be resourceful. We want them to be productive. And a big part about us as leaders and managers is we need to set a high expectation as well as encourage it. For those of you out there, some of you may remember the show MacGyver. He's a person that could get out of any sticky situation with duct tape and a Swiss Army knife. But we want to have teams that can also meet challenges with smart ideas and solutions and problem solve, be capable of devising ways to reach a higher level of productivity. I know when I worked on site, the kind of last case scenario was calling our regional. We did whatever we could to figure it out on our own. So the thing is, we need to expect that of our teams, to let them know, before you come to me, come up with a solution. I want to hear ideas. Again, empower them with that ability to do that, and encourage your teams to find these solutions and help them find the answers. And soon you will see that they're going to become resourceful and more confident in saying, I got this. So they're going to start looking around, what do I have available to me? What are my best options? What can I do with what I have now? By asking these questions, yourself and your team will really gain that productive edge to gather the necessary information that they need to solve that challenge or overcome that obstacle, leverage a process, or produce results. Again, this happens because we're expecting this and we're encouraging that, as well as sharing success stories when other people are doing this as well. So getting that resourceful team in place.
Yeah, I think, Amy, the slide that you had up that said, are you the crazy busy? That slide is so important because it really is that ripple effect. You know, our employees, the people that we lead every day, they're watching. You know, they're emulating. There's some that want to be that manager or want to be in that corporate position, and they feel as though that's the normal. That's how they have to operate because that's how we're operating. So when we conduct our employee satisfaction surveys, we survey thousands of employees all across the country, all different property types, different levels within an organization. We really want to know, what does it take to make you get up in the morning and you're excited about your job, and also what are the things that have you scratching your head or your major pain points? Well, we ask the employees, what's getting in the way of you really feeling as though you're contributing? Among a lot of other questions. One of the interesting things that we found on the survey is that the one question that had the highest level of agreement, so thousands of employees all speaking in volume, the number one highest rated question on the survey was, I like my job. Number one. That is huge. I like my job. It has nothing to do with the money or the bonuses or, all that other kind of those perks. Number 15, very, very low on the list, my manager understands the need for a work-life balance. That's significant. We have employees that love what they do. They want to be there. But yet and still, these are probably the same employees that get emails from their managers at 11 o'clock at night or phone calls at 6 o'clock in the morning before they even, had their cup of coffee to remind them, don't forget to do this when you get to the office today. So if we're looking for opportunities to create these resourceful teams, we can't weigh them down with our crazy busy way of doing business.
That's so great, and I think the insight that this index, I think, shares with us is, how we can come back to as being better managers, kind of the best practices. Again, when we're stuck in this crazy busy, so it's kind of like a hurricane, then you need to step away from it to say, like, why am I doing what I'm doing? And really, what does this mean? And we're going to share some other great insight too, but this is definitely telling us that our people are, happy employees overall, and we are leaders, we're doing a solid job. However, it's definitely showing that work-life balance, there's opportunities to improve our leadership skills. So if we maintain happy and productive employees, that is going to equal great results, effective teams, and successful properties. And that's what it's all about. However, if we fail to assist or even support these teams to maintain this work-life balance, because I know that's a goal for majority of us, probably all of us on this webinar today, we have to balance our teams. If we don't, it's going to lead to burnout, turnover, errors, on and on and on. You all definitely get that. You all definitely get that. So there's definitely opportunities. So I'm going to share a couple ideas. And one first is, let's give our team a break. Let's give our team a break. And here's a crazy stat here that 75% of all office visits are stress related. And a lot of that has to do with that we are overworked. We don't have that work-life balance. So why not encourage and respect the team's time to disconnect, recharge, refocus, because we know that they're going to come back refreshed, they're going to be feeling good, and they're ready to get it. Because honestly, what we do on site is tough, and it can definitely takes all that we have to give every day, right? So I know that when your teams come to you and they're saying that they want to take vacation, I get it. You probably have that eye roll, and you're like that long sigh, and you're already thinking in your mind, how am I going to cover that property, or what am I going to do with that? So I'm hoping the shift will happen for you to say that I know time off matters. Actually encourage your teams to take it. Maybe even go as far as in January, have your teams tell you when they're going on vacation. If they need a 3-day weekend, take it. Again, shift your response for your team time off. Instead of saying, oh, they're leaving for vacation, ask when are they going. And again, all said with positive tone, encouraging your team to take the time off, not dread it. Again, think about it. Think about it.
So asking employees, what is it that gets you excited about your job? What is it that contributes to the fact that the #1 highest rated question on that survey was, I like my job? And this is what employees are telling us. #1, it's the opportunity to learn new things. I love what I do because no day is the same, and I actually get to flex my mental muscle. I get an opportunity to learn new things, whether that's by training, on the job, classroom, learning from others. #2 is the authority to make decisions. Now, as we're going through these, think about that crazy busy ball and chain that you may have around the foot of your employee. How are they going to be able to do these things if they feel the weight of that crazy busy lifestyle or culture within their workplace? So #2, the authority to make decisions. I really do feel empowered. I feel like there's that trust there. #3, management considers my input. They think I have a brain. They like me using my brain, and they appreciate the fact that I can contribute to the success of the company. And then #4, my manager understands what motivates me. And as Amy mentioned, it could be something as simple as, hey, you know what? I haven't seen you take a vacation in the last 8 months. When are you going to at least take a 3-day weekend? or you haven't had vacation yet this year. Are you planning something? You know, for employees to feel that connection with us or with the team leader, it's a lot of those little moments that we may miss because we are doing that crazy busy dance, if you will. So we don't notice when the employee has not had vacation in 8 months, or we're hoping they don't bring it up. Because as Amy just mentioned, like, oh, who's going to cover this shift, or who's going to cover this position for the week? But these are the things that get your employees really excited, really happy, really attached, and loyal to the jobs that they have and the companies that they work for.
I can see, I can already feel the light bulbs going off across the country, Lee. I can see it. I can feel it.
I hope
But
so.
the first thing I know that yeah, I hope so too. That the trust, we have to be able to, we trust our teams and their decisions and their judgment. Trust is a foundation of any good relationship, whether it's friendship, marriage, you know, in our working colleagues. But trust is built one day at a time, every interaction. Again, top priority has got to be our people. When you respect your people, it shows that you value their input and ideas, as Leah just mentioned, and that we trust their judgment. We put them at a property for a reason, a multi-million-dollar real estate asset. Let's trust them. Let's trust their judgment, their decisions. When you do, that equals a higher level of confidence, and by golly, they're going to work harder to be more productive as well as develop solutions as well. And really great way to do that is, you know, obviously walking the walk. We're having great tone with them, engaging and involved with them. But, you know, it all really comes down to that teamwork, because trust generates commitment. Commitment fosters teamwork, and teamwork truly delivers results. When we trust our team members, they're going to work harder, and they're going to work harder for the better of the company, for the property, and for their team as well. So if your team knows that you care about their success because you're showing an attitude of gratitude, you appreciate them, they're going to work harder. So think about when was the last time you said thank you, and you're acknowledging them and recognizing them for all that hard work that they're doing day in, day out. And let's motivate and show value for our team. Holding our team members with high regard and respect to their contribution, they're going to know that they're needed and they're truly valued. And but gosh, we have this huge fundamental need, just as human beings, to be valued. We all want to be challenged, and we all need to be appreciated. Bottom line, we're as human beings, we need that. So think about, does your team feel stimulated by the work that are they maximizing their skill sets? Are they really doing what they want to do, or are we holding them back? Do we need to push them forward? Are we challenging them to grow? So again, when was the last time you told them that they're valued, or told them thank you for your hard work? And a great way to do that is to tune in to what are their priorities. What are their priorities? When you realize and support your team members' priorities, this will help you. Hey, we already talked about, I shared with you how to focus in on your priorities, but let's help our teams focus in on their priorities. Again, this might help flesh out any challenges, or again, kind of create some clarification to move your teams away from the crazy busy to be more productive. So do you know your team's priorities? I borrowed this from good old Lee Iacocca, who was hired back in the 80s to rejuvenate Chrysler, and he asked his key executive team every quarter, he asked them these questions. What are your objectives for the next 90 days? What are your plans, priorities, and hopes? And how do you intend about going about achieving them? And I think this is so powerful because it helps us as leaders and managers to not only support them, what tools do they need, what training, how can you motivate them, how can you encourage that, but also hold them accountable. Hey, I want you to be successful. I want you to hit your professional ambitions or your goals. I'm here to help you be successful. Again, that's our job as leaders, is for our teams to be successful.
So in order for us to help our teams get there, you know, we're understanding, we're learning a little bit more about what motivates them. We're learning a little bit more about maybe our need to, you know, unlock that crazy busy ball and chain. We also have been able to identify how employees feel about the things that are preventing them from getting their jobs done. So what can we do to eliminate these barriers and get them focused in the right direction and being productive? So number one is issues not being addressed promptly. And think about it. If you are crazy busy, if you are all over the place, this is where, you know, you're not going to be able to respond quick enough. You're not going to be able to give the employees the resolutions that they're looking for or the answers to their questions. And we know a lot of employees come to us with requests from residents. So now they're kind of in that limbo world. They have to wait for us to get an answer or a resolution that they need to pass along to the resident. But, you know, you got Mr. Resident calling and emailing and coming by the office, and it's just one of those awkward kind of situations. Again, it really is going to start impacting the overall satisfaction level that that employee feels at work. The next one is that they feel like they don't have authority to make decisions. Now, the authority to make decisions, having that is a motivator. But when they feel as though they do not have that authority, it impacts how they feel about their jobs. And then finally, receiving inconsistent direction from all levels of management. Think about your property management company. You have on-site, you have mid-management, you have corporate level, you have, you know, executive level. There's all these moving parts. And as a company, is everyone on the same page? Are you all speaking the same language? Is every property or every community operating the same? Or is it just sort of like, you know, these little islands all over the place operating in their own world? Because when there is that miscommunication, when there is that breakdown, that's where the frustration starts to set in. That's when employees feel as though, you know, does anybody care? Does anyone care around here? Can someone help me out? And it is going to impact, at the end of the day, you know, how employees are feeling when they wake up in the morning. Are they, you know, energized and ready to go? When it's time to go to bed at night, are they feeling as though, wow, I really rocked it today. I made a lot of headway. I was really productive today. I got a lot done. Or are they feeling, oh, thank goodness, you know, I don't have to worry about work for the next 8 hours so I can get some sleep. So again, it's all about giving the employees what they need, but starting with ourselves as well. As Amy mentioned, it's about shifting. We have to be, you know, we have to shift and make some changes so that it does trickle down to our employees, because they're going to feed off of what we're giving them or what the environment is at the office.
That's right, Leah. I mean, I think this is fantastic information. I'm so glad everybody's here to be able to tune into this, because sometimes it really comes down to basics. And again, because we are so thick in the fray of crazy busy, we have to be able to focus on those basics. And again, we have to be able to give our teams the tools, the support, information, and sometimes that is consistency. Sometimes that is making sure that they have, you know, reminding them that they have authority, that we trust their decisions. And sometimes you have to, again, look in the mirror to say, maybe I'm causing the crazy busy, or maybe I'm not responding quick enough. Again, a lot of times these things are givens, and they're easy, but I mean, or it's easy to say, but not easy to do in that crazy busy world. We have to be responsive. We have to give that consistent directives, and we need to be super clear in our communication. If we want our teams to be successful, we have to give them the right information and tools. Again, these are all great reminders as well as refreshers for us as leaders. Again, we got to manage. Our top priority is to manage our people. Let's kind of not manage a process. That's their job. Let's, you know, kind of stay focused on the priorities. If we micromanage and kind of take over the process, our people will be denied that opportunity to be challenged, right? To feel that great level of satisfaction for achievement, or, you know, learn or to grow. We have to be able to manage our people so that they can be productive. And again, a lot of these are some common sense, again, givens, but we got to make sure that we're definitely doing it. We're walking the walk, and we're practicing what we're preaching here. And remember, we got to manage and support our teams to be productive. Will depend a lot on you as the leader and the example that you set. As we shared throughout this webinar, it'll be up to you to support productive behavior, set the right example, and sometimes we just got to get out of the way, right? Don't get in the way. People are looking at you to be able, whether it's you taking a vacation, you're setting the boundaries, or you're setting your priorities and you're helping them set goals and priorities, you are setting the productive standard. And I'm hoping that this program has helped you kind of require, or, you know, had created a shift in thinking Again, this is all not gonna. This is where the work is gonna kind of rubber hits the road, right? When you have this awareness, but making the change. So I'm hoping that you will think going forward. Gosh, if I give my teams the tools, the training, guidance, they can be productive in their own way. You know what? It might not be the way that I want it done, but they still are being productive and they're getting it done. And embrace how they're doing it. And even think about being more realistic about how people approach things or how people manage the process. And even support your teams in a way that they can be productive. And even lessening your requests or sending your emails out at night, creating that awareness in your teams that need that time to be able to break away. And again, I want to just work, as we're wrapping up here, just really coming back to the basics of really taking back control and setting those boundaries and expectations. Remember, what are you going to do to take back control? If you take back control of your lives, your time, and what you do with it, you can begin to master your own course despite being busy. We almost have to embrace the chaos of what our business brings to us. But once you determine your priorities, set your boundaries and protect your time and set expectations to maximize your time. That might be the saying no, offering alternatives, getting clarification, committing to it, creating those think tanks. What are you going to do to make change?
So as we close out, here's the question of the day. We're going to stop it the way that we started it. What is your top goal? Remember the exercise, the crazy busy exercise, or if you put really busy, super busy, unbelievably busy, we want to turn that around. We want to change that. We need to shift our thinking so now it becomes crazy productive, because that's all that matters at the end of the day. You'll be able to sleep better at night. Your employees will appreciate the fact that they can come to you and get a ready answer because you're not in the middle of 10,000 different things. And that they're going to start emulating that crazy productive lifestyle as opposed to, just sort of being a chaotic situation on any given day.
And I'm going to, before we open it up to questions and answers, I really kind of want to leave you with this pondering question. The next time someone asks how you're doing or how's your work going, and I know the first thing you're going to say is I'm so busy or I'm crazy busy, I want you to actually literally think of Amy and Leah on your shoulder saying crazy productive. So I want you to have a different response, because what are you going to miss when you're busy being busy? Are you going to miss life, happiness, maybe a friend that needs you, a possible mentorship opportunity, or maybe your kid's best play at a game because you had your nose stuck in your smartphone? Don't settle for being busy, but soar to crazy productive. You got to choose, you got to prioritize, you got to defend your priorities and your time. Remember, you're in control of your day and what you do with it. Now go out and be crazy successful. I don't know if there's any questions. We'd love to hear them or answer, or again, you can email it to us or even call us at a later point if you think of something.
Yeah, we can see if Sarah has any. I know she's been monitoring.
I don't have any questions at this point.
Perfect.
Well, here is my information. You can reach me here at this phone number, and Amy at Watch Your Business Sprout. So if you have any information, I would love to hear from you, or follow us on Facebook. And here is Leah's information. I know she'd love to answer information or share with you more findings on the Employee Satisfaction Index. I know she'd love to share that with you as well.
Some questions actually just came in while you were giving your contact information. Oh. We have one that says, what methods do you use to prioritize tasks properly?
I have a great one, if I can take that one. Amy, do you mind?
Sure, absolutely. I love it. Go ahead.
Okay, I read a book called Eat That Frog. It's by Brian Tracy. It's all about time management. The best thing about this book, it's only 30 pages long, because who has time to read a time management book? But the concept is you write down everything that you have going on for the day. And the very first thing you do is to tackle the hardest job on the list. Because, the one that you would put off, the one you would typically procrastinate, if you can tackle that one first, get it off your plate, out of the way, the rest of the day is just kind of gravy because you've gotten the worst over with. So he uses this analogy called eat that frog. If you had to eat a frog a day, that was like, you know, what you have to do. You have to eat a frog a day. Eat the frog before you do anything else, and the frog is your worst task because once you've eaten the frog, you've gotten it out of the way, the rest of the day is going to just be a breeze. I love the book.
Leah, can you just repeat the name of the book and the author again, please?
Yes, it's called Eat That Frog, and the author's name is Brian Tracy, Tracy, Brian Tracy.
And then we have another question.
I would have to.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Amy.
Oh, that's okay. I was going to say I totally agree with that, and I personally am a to-do list person. I visually have to see it. I actually have a big to-do list and a today to-do list, but I think for people to actually write it down because we are so crazy busy, so whether it's on your smartphone or a notepad or on your computer screen, whatever it is, but being able to come back to what are your priorities, and again, putting those top things, those top priorities, what you need to do, and then even looking at it to say, are these the things I really need to be focused on? Because I think when you write down what you're doing every day, it might be an aha moment for you to say, maybe I'm focused on things I shouldn't be focused on to be successful.
And then we have another question that says, how do you keep pace with the want it now way of doing business?
Oh gosh, I'll take that, Leah, and you can piggyback. It's hard. I mean, I know, again, because we are 24/7, people can have access to us all the time. I think it is so important for us to disconnect. So whether you need family quality time, or you need to have that think tank time, or you're brainstorming with yourself or your team time, I think we just need to disconnect and to be able to do that. And you also have to give yourself a break to say, I can't do everything at once. What am I going to do now? And then move on to the next.
Yeah, that's a great answer, Amy. And as you were saying before, it requires a shift. You know, it requires maybe us not, you know, just saying yes or agreeing to do everything, being very selective because, you know, I would rather give someone an alternative if I can than just say yes to everything, and you know, you just have no time for yourself, no time for really to do anything 100%.
I think that's going to wrap up the question and answers portion of the webinar.
Excellent. Well, again, if anyone has any questions, I know Lee and I are thrilled to be able to talk offline or in the future of how we can help people be less crazy busy but more crazy productive.
Thanks everybody for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's really great questions being asked as well today.
I also want to thank both of our presenters, Amy and Leah Nichole, for making time to share their expertise with us today. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and best of luck, everybody.
All right,
The weekend
have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.